Listen, I'm not really a fan of classic horror. It just gets me too much, and my anxiety cannot handle it. I don't enjoy it, and I don't like how it makes me feel afterward. It's like alcohol, but I never get to have any fun. I even once tried to watch the intro to Scream 4? 6? Whichever one is the first one with Jenna Ortega. I tried to watch it on YouTube, and I did complete it, but I had to close my eyes and take my earbuds out of my ears because I just don't enjoy a horror. I am a wuss. I will admit this. And I live happily as one and letting you all just take the horror for me. More horror for you. However, this is the Haunted Mansion. How scary can it be? Let me tell you something. It's not quite scary, but it does give you enough shots of adrenaline. Let me tell you something, my filmer dudes. Just with the Barbie movie, I am shocked by how much I actually enjoyed this movie. It might be too soon to tell, but I might have found my number 10 movie of 2022. Bold claim? Absolutely, but I'll let you decide. Yellow, my little filmer dudes. My name is Ivan Montero, and thank you for joining me on my journey to watch every movie ever created. Not really, but we are gonna get close. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for The Haunted Mansion 2023. I just saw the latest adaptation of The Haunted Mansion in theaters now at the time of this recording. One phrase I kept repeating to myself was, I'm so happy I saw this in the theaters. I am so happy I saw this in the movie theaters. Yes, if you haven't seen this in the movie theaters, I would almost say risk it, but don't sit in the back. You kind of want to sit as close as possible, but not too close. In the middle, like the row right before where everybody walks, that's where I sat. It was a small theater. Not gonna lie, they put me in a small theater, but I sat moderately close, and I did have a really good time being able to see from one wall to the other wall, at least from my peripheral to the other peripheral. A fake IMAX, if you will. Let me start out by saying that I have never ridden the ride, The Haunted Mansion at Disney World. I'm from Florida, so we've only ever been to Disney World in Orlando. However, I do remember passing by the ride, The Haunted Mansion, in the Disney parks as a kid, and my Christian conservative Hispanic parents warding off the entire attraction and then carting my sister and I off to It's a Small World After All, to which I still have nightmares, ironically, today. But with that being said, I didn't really get any of the Easter eggs or the references or know if the story was actually accurate to the lore of the ride or which characters were from the ride. I just knew the Hatbox Ghost being in this movie was a really big deal, especially because he was played by Jared Leto. So the story and the writing. The best way I could describe The Haunted Mansion is that this movie feels like a classic live-action Disney original with big-name actors that you recognize and wonder, how did you get in this movie? I don't know, and I don't care, because I'm having a great time, and even better time, knowing that you are in this movie now. Of course, this movie isn't perfect. The dialogue seems a bit awkward. The dialogue seems a little awkward and clunky at times. The problem isn't the words, the problem is that characters sometimes shift personalities within the movie ever so slightly. It's so subtle when it happens, but you do notice it more in the dialogue. This same character is also saying things like, nah, we out in one scene, but then is properly forming sentences in another. I genuinely think that was the writer forgetting that they're not supposed to be poets. That's okay. I personally do that so much when I write, so that's why I can see it. It's not a bad thing, it's just more noticeable to me. Some of the jokes in the movie don't necessarily land either at times. I do warn you, the movie is not drop dead funny, but you do love the character so much that you kind of just roll your eyes a little and smiling and you're just like, Danny DeVito, Tiffany Haddish. However, there were moments that I giggled, and then there were solid jokes that had me and a few others in my theater just laughing out loud. But I do think the movie suffered from comedic timing in that regard. Holy cow, I don't know if there was any more than this, but I counted like 4 or 5 blatant product placements. That's basically Tiffany Haddish's role, honestly, saying brand names majestically. But the movie is really funny, especially towards the second half of the film. That's when the comedy really takes off. And all of that is really weird to say because the writer of this movie also wrote, get ready, Ghostbusters 2016. I know! So knowing that, the joke's not landing makes perfect sense. But considering how much this movie truly is wonderful, it only goes to show you that just because you deliver one bad product, and trust me, this screenwriter really needs to work on her resume, man, but though you deliver one bad product, doesn't mean it has to define your work for the rest of your life, because The Haunted Mansion is a very good movie, and it really is a very fun ride. The Haunted Mansion is living proof that you can get better at things. At some point in the movie, as the gang is searching to uncover the mystery behind the house and why it exists, I thought to myself, man, I think I would have liked to have had all of this in the beginning of the movie. Because at some point you feel like this movie might start to drag. It doesn't drag, but you do get a sensation that perhaps it might. It doesn't. It actually pays off. I did love the setting of New Orleans. However, based on the 1.5 trailers I saw for this, because I actually don't like watching trailers, I think they reveal way too much, so I typically only watch the teaser and the first trailer. Typically. Sometimes I watch more for clout. But the trailers, to me, indicated that this movie was gonna be set way in the past. So I was really excited, but it turns out that this movie takes place in the modern time era. And the only reason why I thought of that was because the characters were dressed all, you know, Victorian timey-wimey. So it just... But honestly, the way they dress actually works for their characters and who their characters are in this movie. But I did enjoy the setting, the costumes, the look of the mansion itself, the ghosts. Well, the ghosts were classic ghosts. I will say that this movie gets real. I saw some reviews say that this movie was sad and a bummer at times, but it's honestly not that at all. Death, whether you like it or not, is a real part of life, and I don't think we should ever shy away from that topic. Life is fragile, and we as a society haven't really figured out a way to navigate that healthily. And this movie touches on that with characters like Ben and frankly all of the other characters, but especially Ben and Travis, who both have experienced the loss of loved ones. I thought the movie gave each character their own personal denouement, and frankly, it paid off well. This movie did in fact make me tear up, but that's only because like I am a sucker for family, for love, and for friendship stories, and turns out this is all of them. But the movie is really super touching, so, you know, prepare for that. So is this movie scary? No. It gets a little ooh towards the beginning, but it's really not scary. It is thrilling, and there are jump scares, but I mean, who doesn't jump when there's thunder in the dark? Me. That's who. I'm used to the Florida thunder. But it's stuff like that, so I don't think it's scary. I think it's more of a like, oh, that really made my adrenaline spike, and I think I liked it. So now the characters and the actors. Lakeith Stanfield is a standout in this movie. Seriously, what a performance. I believe with everything inside me that this man at the very least deserves an Oscar for, or a nomination or something. He deserves a nomination. I'm genuinely blown away by his performance. This is a huge step in his career, honestly, and I'm kind of just sad that the actors and writers strike is just taking on toll on good movies, and that studios are deciding to release these movies during the strikes. That also perplexes me. If you want these movies to do well, you gotta have your actors promote them, and they're not out here promoting these really good movies, because the Haunted Mansion is a good movie. It's not fantastic, but I think it should, you know, be recognized. But Lakeith Stanfield did an amazing job in this movie. In fact, though I don't think this movie needs a sequel, I would totally be okay seeing Lakeith Stanfield back as Ben Mathias for a second. Rosario Dawson as Gabby. I honestly feel like she herself didn't like the lines that she had to say, and she almost had that energy, like that almost meta energy, like, I know what I'm saying isn't actually cool or funny, it's just awkward, but for some reason, I'm gonna make it work. And she made it work. She makes her entire character work, cause it's Rosario freaking Dawson. I honestly enjoyed her as the mom who would protect her kid at any costs, but isn't really in your face about it. She's just an average Joe, and it's almost refreshing to see just a woman character in a movie who isn't stick in the mud most of all, who knows how to handle herself, but also isn't in your face about it. So honestly, I don't think anybody can complain about this character. Chase D. Williams as Travis. Oh my gosh. I swear this kid is gonna grow up to be the next Eddie Murphy. He is so good. He's not just going through the comedic emotions, he's actually acting his heart out, and he is having the most fun. He even gets a mini monologue and gets to really hit the heartstrings, man, and this kid is a kid, but he's just on fire. The rest of the cast is great. Owen Wilson is being the best Owen Wilson knows how to be. Tiffany Haddish, though her character is a walking product placement announcement, she also makes her character work. Although I do think her character needs some more work, and I just wish we had gotten her and Danny DeVito more in this film, as they don't appear until the second half of the movie. So the roles honestly feel the least developed, but Haddish, like each other character, is giving her moment to shine, and oh, she shined! So who is this movie for? If you like cheesy Disney movies and like horror, then this would be a great movie for you to go see on the weekend with your friends or just by yourself like I did. I need friends. Once it hits streamings, which I suspect will be around October or Halloween season, I suspect this movie is gonna just blow up and become a yearly classic. It will for me. I really enjoyed this movie. I don't like horror movies, as I said, but I really would watch this every year as one of my October movies. So if you like the ride, if you like horror movies, if you like character pieces, or if you like thrillers, then you are going to have a fun ride for sure. Just remember, this is a Disney movie, so it's not quite scary, but it does dance on the line. So what I didn't like, aside from the wonky writing and the weird pacing, I didn't like a lot of the mistimed jokes. A lot of jokes seemed copy and paste and kind of sitcom-y. A lot of jokes seemed copy and paste sitcom-y to me, and I really do love sitcoms. I mean, we watch them together, but I think sitcom jokes have their place and time, clearly, but you know, it's not a detriment to this film whatsoever. There is one surprise twist in the third act that is supposed to be a big surprise, but it's honestly so obvious that you don't necessarily see it a mile away. You see it right next to you the whole time, and you just assume it's part of the ride because apparently it's not. So when the reveal happens, Ben is like, "Nani?" And I'm like, wait, hold up. Nani? Did you not know? But yes, this movie is 2 hours long, including credits. No post-credit scene, but the movie does end with a fun ghost dance scene, so you may want to stick around for that. It happens immediately after the movie ends. But I do think that this movie could have easily been broken up into 3 movies, with the Hatbox Ghost being the Thanos villain of the 3 movies and seeing different ghost villains in all 3. I am okay that we got a standalone film. So what do I give this? I give this a B+. I personally loved it. It's nowhere near perfect at all, clearly, but I had a good time. I really like and relate with grief stories. They're my favorite. Or no, not my favorite. They're close to my favorite. It's why I love, and I think Wakanda Forever is powerful and a near perfect film for me, because it doesn't shy away from grief. And I think we can all take some time to understand death and grief a little bit more so we don't become depressed and quit on life like Ben Mathias in The Haunted Mansion. Haunted Mansion deserves a 9. Honestly, in terms of numbers, it was so close, but The Haunted Mansion deserves an 8.9. So close to a 90. Super close. But alas, not quite there. So have you seen The Haunted Mansion 2023? Let me know if you did. If so, what did you think of the movie? If not, what are you doing? If I had the time, I totally would go see it again. I would see this again. I'd have seen Spider-Man again. I had seen Barbie again. I would see these movies more than once if I really had that time, but I don't. I also would have seen this movie a lot sooner, but hey, what can you do when there's just too many movies coming out at the same? But let me know in the comments below what you thought of this review and what you think of the movie. My social media links are in the description below, and I will see you next time. You've just been Montified.